What's up guys, Tech and Tyler, and today I'm going to show you this really cool wall hanging fluorescent fixture. Now this fixture you can use for many different applications. You can use this as a wall sconce light, a picture light, reading light, whatever you'd want, you could probably use this for. This one is very interesting because I've seen fluorescent wall sconce lights before, but nothing like this one. I have a fluorescent wall sconce light and it's very, very different compared to this one, whereas that one's meant for accent or pictures, I believe. This one is different because this one is more like consumer friendly. All you have to do is just hang this up, plug it in, and then boom, and you can use it for whatever you'd want. Now, I got this recently, and the first thing I did to it when I got it was I completely took it apart, cleaned it, and rewired it. So this is originally manual preheat, so I converted it to actual preheat because the application I'm going to use it for, it's a bit easier for it to be preheat versus manual because it's going to be kind of difficult to reach and to get to. So I changed it over to preheat, and you'll see that in a little bit, and I'll talk about how I did it. So this one's cool because this one, like I said, you just hang it on the wall, and this has a pivoting head on it, which is very unique. So it's got a little pivot point right there, and you can have it, angled up more, down more, side to side, whatever. It's pretty unique. I've never seen one like this, and it's got a really cool Art Deco body design where it's got that roundness with all like the decorative lines in it. Very Art Deco. I want to say this is from the 40s, 50s era. I'm not too sure. I couldn't find anything with like a date code on it to tell how old it is, but yeah, it's a very, it's a very cool but simple light design as well. I love the look of this. I think it's super unique, and I like the fact that it's got the age look to it as well for, how old it is. But yeah, this takes one singular F15 bulb. And when I got it, it didn't have a bulb, unfortunately, so I put a bulb in it. Now, whenever I get old fluorescent lights, I have a whole bunch of old bulbs. I typically don't use those. I don't like to use the old bulbs. I like to preserve them and save them. So I put, newer bulbs in it. So like, for example, this is a Electrics, just like a cheap Japan made bulb that came out of an old desk lamp that I took apart for pieces, and I had a couple of these, so throw that in there, works fine. I don't really care about burning these types of bulbs out because they're just cheap bulbs from other products. So, and I mean, I have plenty of bulbs. I'm just trying to slowly go through the horde of bulbs I have and all the ones that I don't necessarily care about. So this was a good application to put this one in. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, this was originally manual preheat. So the little button on the top here was a preheat switch, and I took that out, and that's just an on and off switch, just a push click on and off switch. And under here, under this metal cover, is where all the wiring is for, the sockets for that switch. And there's a little section that goes from up here to in the back of it. It's a very small opening, so it was kind of tricky to figure out how I was going to make it preheat to fit it, especially having, a socket and a starter and all that. And I'll show you how I did it for right now. I'm going to eventually change it to where I'm thinking about either putting it, behind the fixture here, or maybe on the front plate here. Not too sure yet. I want to put it in a spot to where it, fits it and makes it not look out of place. But that's for a later time. For right now, I just wanted to be able to get it working, cleaned up, and have it at least, be ready for the application I want to use it for. So if I flip it around here, you can see in the back, this is where everything is. So this is the original ballast that came with it. It's a Jefferson Electric ballast that can do, it says specifically 15 watt. So this isn't like a multi-wattage ballast where you can do, 14, 15, 20. This says it's specifically for 15. And it has cloth wiring on it as well, which I'm actually quite surprised this cloth wiring for the ballast is in pretty good shape. This whole fixture had cloth wiring in it, and I removed it because it was quite dry rotted. So I completely rewired it with all solid copper, especially because of the fact that the little hole behind this ballast is so small, I couldn't fit anything in there like lamp wire. So I used a smaller gauge copper wire. That's probably about 18 to 14 gauge, somewhere in that range. Might even be 16. I'm not too sure. It's not the thickest copper wire, but it's not the thinnest, so it works for this application pretty good, and I was able to fit more than one strand through the back. But yeah, so yeah, I took the whole thing apart. I ran all wires through that hole in the back here and then brought them over to here. So I have wires that go to the sockets over here, and then I have jumpers that go from the sockets through the fixture to back here for the starter, which I have currently just the starter sitting in the back of it for right now. It's loose, but I have this cord draped over it to kind of help keep it in place until I figure out exactly what I want to do on mounting it. But I also need to get more starter sockets because these are kind of small. They're not going to work. It's not going to work for the way I want to mount it. I need the bigger starter sockets. So I'm going to order some of those eventually, and I need to eventually get like 10 of those because I got them for more projects. I need to put those in, which I'll make future videos of. But yeah, if you look here, there's the stamp with the company, Holdenline product, Cleveland, Ohio. Like I said, I've never really heard of this brand before. I don't know if it just wasn't too common of a company versus stuff like GE or like Westinghouse or some other brands I can't think of off the top of my head that was pretty popular in making fluorescent fixtures. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting, design for a company that I've never really heard too much about. So I need to do some research on it and see what I can find of them. But hey, for the first time, learning about a company and seeing this product made by them, I mean, it's a pretty cool product in my opinion. But yeah, so like I was saying, I took the whole fixture apart, rewired it, everything. I put a new cord on it, new wiring. The only thing that's original wire-wise is what's on the ballast. Everything else is brand new wiring, but everything else is original to the fixture. So, like parts at least, besides, the starter socket, the wiring, and the ball. But everything else is original sockets, all. Because I've mentioned it in the other videos I've made, I like to keep these as original as possible, especially even with the cloth wire if I can, but sometimes you can't just because it's so dry rotted. In this case, it was so dry rotted, it had to be changed out. I mean, even the wire nuts that were on this were falling apart because they are the old sort of Bakelite type of material, or I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but I know that the wire nuts that used to be in them were these kind. They're made out of a very kind of brittle plastic. As you can tell, there's a chip in that side there, but I like the old wire nuts. They're cool, but I just, put all brand new ones in this one. But yeah, very neat sort of fixture. Very cool design, very universal. Like I said, I have a really cool use for this to light up some artwork on the wall. And yeah, I still got to do a little bit of work to this. Not a whole lot. A couple small things to it still before I can mount it. I got to get some new nuts to put on the ends right here because the ones that came with it were quite rusty. So I'm eventually going to not put brand new ones, but get some new ones that fit but are kind of, got that aged look to them to kind of match the color of this one, from like steal them off of another light. But yeah, I put a, brand new wire on this one. I have a really long wire attached to this just because I don't know how much wire I'm going to need for the application I'm going to put it on. So I just threw a really long cord on this and threw one of these on here, which I love these plugs, these old GE snap-on little plugs. Super universal. I love these things because I can literally just cut any wire attached to a fixture, slap one of these on here, and it works pretty good. And they work really well, and I just think they're, such a cool look to them as well because they're very that design for the plug is neat as well. But yeah, so I have it plugged in now, so I'll show you a little example of, you know, what it looks like now with it preheat versus manual. So all I have to do is click it, and then comes on after a couple blinks, and boom, perfectly fine. Whereas the manual, you'd have to hold it down and then let it go and it will come on. This is just straight click on and off, comes right to life. So makes it so much easier for the application versus having to always, every time I want to cut it on, reach up there to cut it on. This way I can just have the switch on all the time, and then I'm just going to throw one of those adapters on the end that have the little switch where it's like a little plug with a switch on the top of it, and then plug the lamp into it. I have a bunch of those. I love using those things for stuff like this, or especially Christmas and Halloween decorations. But yeah, I know there's not a whole lot really to talk about this, because I don't really know a whole lot of information about this besides the fact that it's from the Holdenline company, and it's from about the 40s, 50s era. But I just wanted to make a video and show this newer light that I got, and the process of, you know, what I changed on it, and of turning it from manual to actual preheat. So yeah, just something really cool to show off. So I got some more stuff I'll be definitely making videos of here soon. Tons and tons of stuff, so just keep a lookout for that. And yeah, if you want to keep seeing more stuff like this, like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you.